Hi, in this video I'm going to be talking about ties and two new riffs with them in your book on page 8. So that's the Space Trekking by Deep Purple and Money, That's What I Want. So those are really fun riffs to work on this week. But first, before we get started, we're going to talk more about the ties. So what you'll start seeing is once in a while in songs you'll see this curved line that goes from one note to the next, and that is called a tie. So when you see that, what you got to do is strike the first note and not strike the second note, and just hold that first one for the value of both. So for example, if you review all your notes at home, if you review the whole, half, and the quarters, the ones that we know so far, and their values, such as whole note is 4 beats, half is 2, and quarter is 1, whatever those two notes that are tied are going to be of a combined value. So for example, if it's 2 quarter notes, that would be 2 beats, right? So it's 1 plus 1. If it's a half note tied to a quarter note, then that would be 3 beats, because it's 2 plus 1. So and it could also be eighth notes as well. It could be any type of notes. So in the first song here, in the Space Trekking, you'll see that your open D string, that's the new string that we added lately, is tied to the next eighth note. So 2 eighth notes together create a quarter note, right? So since an eighth note is a half of a beat and then another eighth note is half, together they make 1 beat. So basically that note D you're going to have to hold for 1 full beat. So the song itself is actually pretty easy. So we'll start on the A string and we're going to play it open first. And first, of course, start slow, and then we'll speed it up to like an eighth note at a comfortable tempo for you. So again, we got the open A. Then we're going to put our second finger right here on the D string on the 2nd fret. We're going to play that as well, followed by the 1st fret on the D string. So you just have a run down basically. So if we put that together, we got 0 on the low E, 2, 1 on the D. And then finally, you're going to lift it up and play that open D. So because this one is held for the value of 2 eighth notes, we got to hold it longer, right? So when we count the eighth notes, as you remember, we count them with the ends. So if I count that so far, we have 1 and 2 and 3. And notice that on 3, I didn't play an extra note. I didn't mute the strings. I just let that previous, the and 3, to ring out for the amount of that time. And then you just have the ending, which is really simple too. So this one here, you're gonna use your 3rd finger on the 3rd fret, then 2nd on the 2nd, 1st on the 1st. So this will be pretty easy. So that little part, just and, 4, and that is all done on the A string. So you just need the A, the D, and then back to A. So I'm gonna put that together. So again, you heard how I held that 1 extra note, right? So if I count with that again, you'll get to hear it really well that way. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So it's not the same as if there was a rest, of course, right? So if there was a rest, we'd play 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and you wouldn't hear any sound at all. But this is a little bit different here, right? So anytime you see that dashed curved line under our notes in this book, that's what it means, right? So we're gonna have to hold both of them. And again, make sure you're not playing the second note. You're only striking the first with your pick, and then you're done there. So then the second riff is called Money, That's What I Want. This one's really fun. Yeah, like it says on there, it was recorded by lots of different artists. And this riff here is all done on the low E string. So this one's fairly easy. So there we're starting on eighth notes. Then we have a quarter note. And then on the second run there, you'll see that again, you see those 2 eighth notes tied together. So just like in the other song, that will be worth 1 beat, right? So we're just going to start with the first half of it, the first bar. We're starting on the open low E string, and then we're going to go to the 3rd, 4th, and 5th frets right there. So again, best thing to do would be to use these 3 fingers. So far we have 0, 0, 3, 4, 5. And notice that that last note there, the A on the low E string, the 5th fret, is a quarter note, right? So again, you have to hold that for 1 beat. So if I counted that, 1 and 2 and 3 and, right? And again, I held it for the same amount of time as a 1 beat, right? So you're not supposed to play it on the end of the 3rd beat. And then to finish it off, you're gonna leave that first finger there on the 3rd fret, come back to it for the 3rd fret and open. So as I'm moving up this way here, I even hold all the fingers down. That really helps me on the way back, right? So I'll do that again. And that's it, right? So you probably got to see that I'm going up, and then I already have this note right there. So that makes it easier, just like that, right? So I'll do that one more time with the rhythm, with counting. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So that's the first half of our little riff. And then the second half, we go back to that third fret. So it's gonna kind of go back and forth between your low E and the low G there. Remember too that alternate picking can help a lot too with that, just to really smooth out our line. And if you want to get faster, you can, that helps a lot too. So the second half, now you see that tie in there. So again, same thing happens there. We got 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and in the same spot that we saw it in space tracking too, right? The and 3 is the held one, right? So in this case here, you're going to hold the 5th fret on your low E for a full beat, right? The note A right here. So I'm gonna play this second bar here for you, nice and slow. And again, you heard how I held that 5th fret on there, right? And then I went back to the 3rd. And again, you know, if you keep that finger on the 3rd fret the whole time, then it makes it easier. You don't have to look for it on the way back, right? So I'll play a little bit faster and I'll count with it. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So when we put the whole riff together, this is what it sounds like. I'll do it with count one time. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So a pretty simple riff here, but the rhythm is quite important there, right? So now you're starting to see more complicated rhythms. So I'm just gonna put the whole thing together now, and I'll repeat it a few times. So this should be a fairly simple riff for you as well. Let me know how these two songs go for you at home, and I'll see you next week. Bye.